All right, Ignite session 1, we're going to be meeting weekly on Wednesdays, 12 to 1. If you're able to come in person, please do so. The conversation tends to be better. What am I doing? Okay. And you just get to know one another a little bit differently. This will be recorded and uploaded every week to YouTube so that anybody can come back to it, or if you missed it, you can catch up on a session. The goal is the work in the session will be done throughout the week, and then the next week you will come prepared for the next session. And so that is the goal. I do ask everybody, I think there's a portion in here, but I do ask everybody to be committed to attending the sessions. If you miss one, to watch the session. If you come in person or if you're on Zoom, I understand people work and I understand you may be in your lunch hour. If you need to eat or something, I understand that. But if you need to take a call, just block this 1 hour and commit to this 1 hour, and you'll see the difference it makes in your business. So session 1 is Spark Your Career. There are 20 sessions we're going to go through, and it is very granular on some sessions. And so we're going to look through what it looks like. If you don't know me, I'm Katie Woodard. I've been licensed for 7 years now. I did begin with a different brokerage and joined Keller Williams 2.5 years after I had my license. I have history in property management. That's not for me. I was a solo agent here at Keller Williams a short time before I stepped into leadership as a team leader of office. I did that for 4 years. And now I'm the productivity coach and market center tech trainer for KW Montgomery and KW Auburn. If you need me, you can call me at 334-530-0509. I make every effort to be available. I do have 2 kids. I did switch out of that hourly position so that I could have more flexibility with my kids. If you call me and miss me, leave me a voicemail, send me a text, send me an email, because you know the fun thing about email is you can bookmark it. And I will get back to you just as quickly as I can. My intention is that we cover a lot in these sessions. We can stay before, we can come before, we can stay after, and we can hit a lot of things weekly. I do understand things pop up, but we're going to follow this criteria. This curriculum is going to be awesome. Okay, so everybody should have been emailed. Why is it not clicking, guys? There, oh, there you go. This is what Keller Williams proposes. Do y'all see that schedule? That is something else. We are not going to do it that way. We, again, are going to do it 1 time a week, 12 to 1 on Wednesdays. And so this really, if you were to go all in and you could see, you know, how much effort needs to go into this, it is a lot, and it does work. So I'm not saying it doesn't. This is just not the schedule we're going to follow. So this is the first section, and it's going to go through, well, actually, this is the overall view, and then the first section we're in is real estate expert. So it's going to go through how to be a real estate expert, lead generation tactics, how to lead follow up, and then transaction specifics. And so this is what we're kind of doing. By the end of Ignite, you should have a great value proposition for your business that you're able to say quickly, put on things, you have a clear image and message. You're going to develop a lead generation system, and you're going to follow the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, and we refer to it as the MREA or the Red Book. You're going to follow and establish a lead follow-up system. And you're going to practice and perfect your real estate transaction getting paid. So there you go. All right, so here is the real estate expert. Today's session is Spark Your Career. Within the next 4 weeks, we'll do Embrace Your Job, Connect with the Market, and Define Your Value. And then, as you can see, the other sessions go through generating leads, growing your database, capturing leads with open houses, capturing leads with social media, keeping your lead, follow up with leads, strengthening relationships, qualifying buyers and sellers, win the buyer, win the seller, working with buyers and sellers, making receive offers, negotiating offers. I can't read that one. Get to close, and then plan your future. So, I mean, it's really great content that you're not really going to want to miss. Oh, we got somebody popped in. Hold on. Let's see. All right. So this is today's agenda. And Ignite is to really give you a new way of thinking. I know if you're like me and you came into real estate, one, you've probably done a different career or many different careers. Like me, I've been a jack of all trades. And so this is a new way of thinking. You come into real estate, and sometimes, although you may have been very confident in these other careers or fields, you kind of lack confidence in what you're doing in real estate. And if you're fresh off the state exam, I think you have even less confidence because it kind of puts in your mind that everything is illegal and everything is not ethical, and it just is all what not to do. It's not very practical. And so this is a new way of thinking. We're going to go over KW culture, the 6 personal perspectives, the resources, creating you a vision, and then the system of daily success you follow. Clicking now, really. And we'll figure out Tony's computer somewhere along the way. Up, see, there we go. Anyone can do it. Not everyone will, but will you? And that's Gary Keller. And if you've ever read anything from him or listened to his podcast, which I highly recommend, Think Like a CEO, he kind of goes through, there's a couple seasons now. They're pretty small episodes, 20 to 30 minutes, but the beginning, he goes through how he came up with writing the MREA. And little fun fact that there was no millionaire real estate agents when he wrote the book. Right now we see Selling Sunset, we see Sirhan, we see all the things, and it's kind of like, oh, well, if you're not a millionaire agent, what are you doing? And that's just not true. So Gary Keller interviewed like 110 very successful top agents, put together all their practices, and made the models of things that we follow. So there wasn't even a millionaire real estate agent at the time. But he is very frank. He's very direct. He's very Southern, which I find funny and refreshing, because you would think it would be some very polished, sophisticated person. And he's really just kind of like, no, if you've got grit and determination and you can follow a system, you can do what you want to do. All right. Now, this is the 6 personal perspectives. This is the key to success and abundance, and it's a cornerstone of Keller Williams. We're going to learn a little bit about it, kind of each session we go through, but this is what differentiates those who achieve from those who do not. Okay, so this is not standing alone. These are all kind of work together. So the first one that you're really going to go into and apply is commit to self-mastery. Does everybody here know their goals? I know if you're in productivity coaching, that's something that we've already addressed. Know your goals, know your strengths, know your weaknesses, be aware of those. Know how to work with your strengths and weaknesses, and seek to master the necessary knowledge, skills, and habits. So interesting question. To be a master of something, do you know how many hours it takes to be called a master? There's an official, I'm going to Google it right now because I used to know it, but I don't want to tell you the wrong thing. 1,000 hours to become a master. 10,000 hours. 10,000 hours. 10,000 hours. I'm gonna look up how many that equates, how many days. It's 416 days. 416.67. Yeah. So in mastering something, you're definitely going to want to devote time to it. You're going to want to have a calendar that reflects that. You're going to get a lot of sidebars from me, guys. I mean, I've been doing this a long time, so this is not in the curriculum. But one of the questions I ask when you're talking about PC is, do you have the hours to commit to it? Because if you, particularly if you're going into real estate full time, you know what you tend to become for your family? The errand person. Oh, can you run and pick this up from the dry cleaners? Oh, can you take the dog to the vet? Oh, can you go run and pick this up? Can you drop this off at this kid's school? Can you, because you have flexible hours now, right? make your calendar fit your goals, because if not, time will fill it up. And there's a bold law that says the work fills the time allowed. So if you don't have set hours that you're working on real estate and lead generation, you're going to be doing everything in this world. I read a quote yesterday too. It was about, if you think you're going to become less busy, I think I posted on Facebook. If you think you're going to become less busy, you're wrong. Your priorities are just going to change. So make it a priority that this is what I'm doing. I've had to tell my husband, now that I've transitioned out of the office and I'm kind of flexible and I have a computer at home, it's kind of like, well, I'm over here working on the computer. I'm not scrolling TikTok. Like if I'm sitting at this computer, it means I'm doing work. Now, would it be great if I had a door to close and had a little better boundaries? Yes. But at the same time, you can tend to become that errant person, and you definitely don't want that. You want to say, hey, these are my working hours. This is what I'm doing. And it's important to me. Okay. 10,000 hours, guys. 10,000 hours. I don't have a pen. All right, the 80-20 principle is an old principle, and it means that 20% of your action lead to 80% of your results. And so that's really about making sure that you do your big rocks and your things that are important, your things that are dollar productive. Okay. I had a conversation with, I think it was Sherry yesterday, and we were talking about meetings. I said, hey, if you have an appointment and that person they're not ready to buy and sell, you can still meet with them, but you really need to get a referral from them. Right. So it's not that you don't want to be belly to belly, face to face, conversating, relationship building with people, but you need to realize what your dollar productive activities are. And that's finding buyers and sellers. So that's kind of what that is. If you're not finding buyers and sellers, but you're posting on Instagram, you're doing all this stuff, not that that's not good. It's not going to bring any money. Okay. Moving from E to P is my favorite. This tends to come into play when you first get into real estate, and then when you've been in for a while and you've kind of gotten yourself a routine. So most people that get into real estate are natural, what kind of personalities? Are they introverted people? Are they typically outgoing? No, I mean, not all the time, but you typically, yeah, you typically have people that are extroverted. You typically have people that are gregarious. They like visiting with people. They like looking at houses. That's your natural ability. Do those people always have great sales skills? Not necessarily, right? You don't have a conversion skill. So your entrepreneurial approach is, I naturally want to do this and I have an intention to do it. The purposeful would mean you go beyond your natural ability. Yes, you have a skill set. Yes, you have a strength, but you really refocus your mindset. You refocus what you're doing. Your calendar looks different. Your activities look different. Your dialogue changes because now you're purposeful. And that's what you guys are doing at Ignite. It's going to hurt, right? You're hitting the ceiling because you're like, why? Why am I not there yet? Oh, I've been doing this for a year. Why have I not? But you're going to break through and you're going to become purposeful. And it's not a one-time breakthrough. You're going to kind of get to it. You're going to feel good about, oh, I feel good working with buyers and sellers. Graduating from productivity coaching, if you're in that, that's going to be another ceiling, right? You're going to then stand on your own and you're going to come across another one. Well, why I can do 10 deals a year. Why can't I do 20? You have to kind of reformat your thinking and think a different way. Being learning based. So if you're here on the call, if you're watching this, or if you're in person, this means that you know that learning based is very important. These 6 personal perspectives, again, another side note, these are great things to put in a listing presentation or things to say when you're talking with people, because this is part of your value. Do you know how many of the 1,800 agents in our MLS are not in this room? That sets you apart. Okay. If you're not learning based, you're ignorance based. I know what I know. I know what I know, and I'm going to ignore anything else. Okay. The learning based person says, I know what I know, and I know there's more to learn. You don't know for knowing's sake, you know for doing sake. You don't want to be a know-it-all, right? I'm neither especially clever nor especially gifted. I'm only very curious. That's Albert Einstein. We say here, Keller Williams, come from curiosity. It helps when you're in a high tense environment and you're talking with a buyer, you're talking with a seller, you're talking with another realtor that's kind of getting a little tiffy. You can say, oh, and the way you speak can say, oh, I'm just coming from curiosity. I want to understand you. That really is going to de-escalate a situation. And it just really is helpful. Removing your limiting beliefs. When you limit your thinking, when you unlimit your thinking, you unlimit your success. So a limiting belief, I want somebody to say that they have had one of these because I know it's true. I don't have enough time for training. I can't be successful in this market, and I can't devote 3 hours a day to lead generation. What's another limiting belief you guys have had?
Well, one of my friends, I won't be able to do real estate full time.
I won't be able to do real estate full time. Okay. Anybody else? We're all friends here. Another one I've heard is there's so many other realtors out here.
Oh, well, yeah, that's I've seen.
There's so many other. There's actually more real estate agents in the world than there are pieces of real estate sold.
Yeah.
So yes, that's true. Again, look at what you're doing. Look at what your unique proposition is, your unique value is compared to anybody else. There's a lot of people not doing what you're doing. And that's important to show. So if you think of a limiting belief, write it down, say that's not me. Okay, that's not me. There's no reason to think that. And then we want to be accountable. So someone who's not accountable doesn't seek reality, doesn't ask questions, fights reality. They're in denial about what's going on. That's not the way it is. That's not how it goes. That's not true. Blames. Everybody else could do it. This is not my fault. Why don't they change? Personal excuses. That's not my job. I was never given a chance. It doesn't work in this area, in this market. Waits and hopes. Maybe one day, time will tell. It's out of my hands. That's not true. In this room, we're accountable. You want to seek reality. What is the situation? Acknowledge it. Have clarity around it. I see what's going on. I'll see what's going on. You own it. You have energy. You have focus. If it's to be, then it's up to me. You find solutions, not problems. What are my options? How can I do this? What can I do? I was watching again a TikTok, and I watched these leadership things, and this lady who's talking to all these leaders, she's saying, she's some sort of professional specialist, whatever she's saying. Anytime someone brings her a problem, she says, well, how are you helping? What's your resolution? And that's how we need to look at things. What can be the resolution? And then you get on with it. Get an action plan together. Let's go. And this is what I'm going to do. Happiness is not an individual sport. Sean Aker, he wrote, oh gosh, was the happiness study or something? He came to family reunion a couple years ago, and it was very interesting on the studies and things he did around happiness mindset and the psychology of happiness. It has everything to do with basically how you speak to yourself, to others, how you interact with others, how you then can rate your happiness differently versus sort of kind of being the victim, right? What are your ahas from this section, guys? Anything surprising about what we've talked about so far in the class?
Doesn't mean just stop limiting your thinking, like you can, as long as you can think outside of what you really trying to do, that get there.
Very true. Mindset matters. That's one of the biggest things I've learned from Keller Williams that's non-real estate like category, I guess you could say. Your mindset matters. Real estate's not rocket science, okay? Literally, if you've met some realtors that are not fantastic, you probably think to yourself, right? But at the same time, you can differentiate yourself in a good way, the way some of this others differentiate themselves in not such a good way, right? It's not rocket science. Literally anyone could do it, but you need to be the one to make your dreams come true and hit your goals. You got to get up, you got to do the little activities that add up to the big results. Anybody on Zoom and anybody able to talk and give some feedback, any ahas? Okay, we're gonna move on. So now we're gonna talk a little bit about Keller Williams culture, and everybody in here has had an appointment where you covered some of this as well. We may not spend a lot of time on it. We do have Red Day coming up May 11th. If you guys don't know, it's a day where Keller Williams International closes the doors for business and every office does a local community service project. So years past, we have fed the Haynes Ambulance Life Alert people. We have done a blood drive. We did deployment packages for military last year. We've collected donations for local nonprofit after school organizations that were taking care of kids in the afternoons. So this year we're doing Montgomery Area Food Bank. We're going to package some of their food packages for elderly homes. So that'll be May 11th. And then we kind of hang out after our service project. So check your email for details about that. But that is what's coming up. Our mission is to build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving. That's very important to who we are. We believe in the Y4C2Ts. This is actually an award someone wins every year because they're going above and beyond in their personal life and in their business life to really make, what they do about this. This is another fantastic thing to put in a presentation, a consultation, because if you say, this is what I'm about, again, this is going to set you apart. You're not just about the deal, you're about trust, you're about equity, you're about creativity, you're about commitment, you're about win-win and integrity. And that, again, is not normal in today's world, unfortunately. Having troubles finding Tony's thing here. There we go. So KW Cares is a nonprofit organization that Keller Williams International has, and it's for associates and certain family members in case of a hardship or a sudden emergency. For instance, Susan Sullivan downstairs, y'all all have met her. She had a massive heart attack this past summer, ended up having to have 6 bypasses done. And she was able to apply for a grant for working here for 8 years. She got granted the funds, and that definitely helped set off her financial burden from that surgery because it was totally unexpected. And so we're very thankful she's okay. And she had, I believe, 9 blockages. It was a horrible situation for her, but KW Cares did contribute to that. A lot of times, if there's like tragedy because of weather, a hurricane came in, they have semi trucks prepared and ready, and they go sometimes before government assistance and Red Cross. When Katrina happened, even though that was how many years ago now, they beat FEMA to Katrina. So like literally being there, mucking out properties, feeding people, providing generators. KW Cares is a big deal. Again, this is something that is unique to Keller Williams. And then I don't know if y'all could see, but KW Kids Can is also a nonprofit. And that's where you guys, anybody can become a KW Kids Can instructor. And it's for kids 18 to I think like 22. It's not really kids, it's more like older teenagers, young adults, and they do classes on mindset, budgeting, things like that, where they'll go around to different locations and teach this. And so that's something, we don't have anybody, I don't think, in our immediate area that teaches it, but I think they've done one in Birmingham. So that's just a really cool thing that's done. Okay, we're gonna skip through that. All right. Keller Williams, all these things, guys. We won all these awards. I'm going to scroll through this because this is not necessarily directly applicable. I do want to tell y'all, tell y'all about KW Connect. So have y'all had a chance to look on MyKW at all? On the MyKW, there's kind of different things you can kind of click on. I recommend you get in there and play with it. But this Connect, it's got all kinds of classes. Some of them are live, some of them are on demand. So you could pick up, you know, listing practices or something like that would be a topic you could look at, and you could see somebody teaching that on demand. It will show local and regional trainings, different events like our convention, family reunion, mega camp. And then it's got the materials for Ignite, which I have shared that out with everybody. If you want to bring a device and follow along, feel free. Notes should be good enough. And then having the resource to come back to would probably be ample. And then MAPS is a mega agent productivity system. That's the coaching that you would sign up for. After you get out of productivity coaching, that's somebody that meets with you once a week, 30 minutes. They range from, I think, $500 a month to $1,000 a month. It gets benefits like tickets to the conventions, but it also is somebody that's coaching other top producers around the nation. So you kind of get their perspective of, oh, this person's doing this in California, this person's doing this in Montana, this is working for someone in Florida. You get that perspective and that benefit. All right, so has everybody been able to log into Command? I know, Quan, you were questioning that. This is your CRM. It's your platform. There is a computer version and a app version. I'm going to be doing Kickstart Command classes, doing the orientation thing. So there'll be multiple opportunities for overview, or if you want to schedule a time with me for some tech overview, we can do that as well. In the app. The search app, how have y'all been doing sharing the search app? Has everybody gotten access to that? Because this Sherry yesterday, I was like, girl, you need to be sharing your app with everybody you know. And she got a strong lead for a listing and a possible buy from sharing her app. Do you have questions about that?
Okay, the app is
It's the white square with the red KW. You have to make sure to select yourself as an agent before you share it. But what I do is I go click share in there, and we can do this after where I can show y'all a demonstration, and I copy it into my notes, because sometimes, you know, you're somewhere the internet doesn't work or the app doesn't want to log you in. You just always have that available to share on social media, to share with your family and friends. I share it with my family and friends first and say, hey, test this out and tell me what you think. They do need to put their name and email address in there to log in, but then you can see everything they look at in Command. So
if I share the app with someone, they have to register.
They just put their name and email in. They're doing that on Zillow. So it's not going to force them to do it, but they should, that way that you can, and say, this will give you an opportunity to communicate with me through the app. If they don't log in, they can't communicate with you. I mean, they'll have to text you and screenshot and do all the stuff, but if they want to use it like that, they have to register. All right. So profit share and growth share. Profit share is when you have somebody that you refer to the company, they join the company, they begin producing with Keller Williams anywhere, that connects to profit share. Everyone in Keller Williams has to name a sponsor. Growth share is if you share that you refer someone and they're out of the country. So that instead of happening monthly, getting paid on that, it's quarterly, and that's due to like the conversion of the money. It's easier for them to do that quarterly, but that's the difference. It's the same concept. All right, so KWX, it's a little, we're getting in the weeds a little bit here, but just stay with me, okay? We're gonna breathe through this. Keller Williams Realty was basically the first company. Gary Keller started locally in Austin. He did not want to franchise. Then when he did begin to franchise, he was going to only do it in Texas because he wanted to do it to anywhere he could drive to in case there was an issue. Well, of course, now we're in like 53 different countries. We're all over the world. And then that's where the Keller Williams Worldwide became. That was like a secondary company, really the same, but they had to be two different ones. Then came along Keller Mortgage, which is a company that Keller Williams owns. Keller Manage is something coming along and is tested in certain markets. Keller Cover, again, is a connection to insurance, and then Keller Offers is different in different markets. This was all in an effort for Gary to keep all of the agents in the center of the transaction. So if you kind of look at this wheel as things that are pieces of the pie to home ownership or selling your home, the agent and the client relationship is in the center. Their selling is connected to the green portion, the buying is connected to the blue portion, and the purple is your like living. So he wanted to make any Keller agent the very center with their client, and the client shouldn't have to go somewhere else. You could be the center through these companies, right? It then became a conglomerate with KWX, which was the holding umbrella company for all these separate pieces to belong together. This was all done in an effort for Keller Williams, KWX, to go public on the stock market. This is all part of the conversation. Everything was looking pretty good until kind of everything happened. It was the end of last year, beginning of this year, was stocks started acting crazy, and it just was not a financially good decision to go public. So we're still privately held, and yet now we have these beneficial partnerships that can be offered. The Keller Mortgage, I have personal experience with. They just announced a partnership with a huge financial institution. Can't think of the company now, but you'll see more about that. But if y'all see these, that's what they are. They are legitimate. Some of them are available in our market. Some of them are available in the larger markets that are, major markets, not ours. Keller Mortgage, I personally bought my home with them. They do an appraisal. They're unique to any Keller Williams agent, so no other company can offer this. They have competitive rates. They're really for not the credit challenge. They're for kind of a good base run mill, good credit score, typical house. I don't know if they'll do land or jumbo loans, or they don't do certain things, but it's a great thing to offer someone. So say, hey, because you're in a relationship with me, you have access to Keller Mortgage. There is no lending fees, and they order the appraisal at time of contract. So it doesn't wait till you get to closing, then the appraisal is ordered, and then that sucker doesn't come in right, and then you're back to square one. On my personal home in 2020, it saved me $6,000 cash. I'm not kidding, by using Keller Mortgage. Now, we have fantastic lender partners here. I never want to say, oh, don't use your local lender, because I'm the one to say, go local first, right? Even if you have somebody with an online lender, hey, let's have a backup plan and have someone local. I'm always going to tell you that. We have terrific partners here at Keller Williams that are vendor partners. You'll see, you'll meet, you really do need to connect with them. And this is just great for your value to say, I am connected with a specific lender. It's all digital. You can refer people, they connect them back to you. There's specializing things there. Keller Offers, they're coming out with new features. In some of the markets, it was an iBuyer program. In our market, it was like a low interest remodeling loan. Basically, if someone wanted to do some remodeling to their home to list it, and they said, oh, I want to do a loan, but I don't want to go take out a different line, there was just a specialty opportunity. If you go to our YouTube channel, we've had where they've come to guest speaker, and they have different details about it. So anyway, the idea is we have all these additional companies to make sure that the agent can say, I can connect you with X, Y, and Z, and you don't have to go anywhere else, right? That was a lot to say all that, but our communities that you'll see some information on is diversity, equity, inclusion, KW commercial, KW land, KW luxury, KW military, KW new homes, KW sports and entertainment, and KW young professionals. All right, let's get to you. Boom. All right, let me find where I'm at. Hold on 1 minute. See how you don't need all those printouts? I mean, it was just a lot of like stuff that it's good to know, but you don't necessarily need to print that out. All right, everybody, if you're driving in the car or if you're working, don't do this, but I want you to close your eyes. If you're in the room with me, just trust me. I'm not going to poke you or anything. We're going to do an exercise on your future. Okay. Today is a year from today. So it's April 19th, 2024, and the year of our Lord, 2024. All right. Picture this. Your business is thriving and your life is everything you dreamed of. Your customers rave about the experience and value you provide and think of you when they have a real estate need. Your family and friends are so proud of you and your success, and they're consistently referring business to you. You're helping others live their dream of owning a home because you are focused on helping them get what they desire. You're building the foundation and momentum for your entire career and gaining relationships and experiences and the income you desire. You're the top agent in the market center or rookie of the year. You're poised to hire a part-time assistant to handle your 80% while you take care of your 20% that grows your business. You are on the path to, what's something you would add? Financial freedom. Owning a first home, owning a second home, owning an income property, having a new car, paying for a kid's college, paying for a kid's private school, paying off debt, right? The list goes on. I want to challenge you to write down the date, April 19th, 2024, and write down something that came to you when I said, you're on the path to. Write it big, write it bold, know where you can come back to it. And then write in, if this was your life and we're sitting there having a discussion about this, how does it make you feel? Your business is thriving. Your life is everything you've dreamed of. People rave about you. You're helping people. You're a top agent. You have fantastic momentum for your career. How does that make you feel? Anybody want to share? Like the sacrifices were worth it. Anybody else? Do you feel a happy feeling or are you feeling a sad feeling? Happy, right? You're feeling content. You're feeling pleased, right? Successful. Motivated, right? Because you've accomplished so much in 12 months. What could happen? I mean, nothing can stop you now, right? It's those feelings and that mission that needs to be in the forefront of what you do. Okay. Here's another excellent exercise. Does everybody have a piece of paper? Okay, so this next one is going to really take up pretty much a full piece of paper. If you are working or doing something else, again, this will be recorded. You can come back to it. Okay. All right. So we're going to expand our thinking beyond the year. What are things that you want to do for people that you care about? What are charities that you would support? How would you make your life and the lives of those around you better? We're going to create a chart. And what you're going to do is draw a big circle in the middle and 5 squares. Make those squares big enough for right. All right. In the boxes around the middle, I want you to write down the people, the charities, the projects, 5 big things. If you were leading a big life and could take care of the people in your life or a local charity or whatever it is to you, name it. All right, y'all let me know when y'all are ready. Hey, y'all got the 5 things? All right, now what you're going to do is add an amount you would like to spend on each. Do not shortcut this. If you had unlimited resources, what would you give to these things? What would take care of whatever it is? If it's college tuition, how much would that be for 4 years? If it's to donate X amount of dollars, if it's to put it in a trust, if it's to pay off some debt, give it a number. Okay. Every square needs a number. And don't limit yourself. Don't think I'll never be able to afford that. Do not do that. That's not what this exercise is. Okay, you take your 5 squares, you add them all up and you put them in that middle circle. Anybody want to share their amount? $260,000. Anybody else? What? Is what? 16 million. All right, girl. How about we start with 160,000 and go from there? No, but I mean, this exercise is good. Okay. Whatever your number was, it's your number. It doesn't matter. This is an exercise to make sure that you're establishing a mindset of caring and gratitude along with your goals to begin your journey into your future. Ignite's about working on the skills and habits to get you what you want, but you have to know what you want, right? Even jobs you love have moments where you'll struggle to find motivation. During Ignite, we'll learn a lot about the ins and outs of how to find and keep business. You'll learn everything you need to do with a deal up to the closing table, and you're going to be connected with what you want and for your success so that you find that success. To achieve success, you need motivation and inspiration for doing it, your big why. So as we go through big why and we see ways that you're limiting yourself, we go through Ignite, the barriers you're putting your way, you want to make sure you're thinking big. So your big why has a lot to do with the exercise you just did, but it's what stirs your soul. What is beyond your business, what drives you. Is it money? Is it freedom? Is it providing for your family, college tuition, building a legacy, supporting a charity? Whatever that is, take a moment to write that down. What is your big why? It can change, it can evolve. It doesn't have to be your big why till you're 110 years old. But what is it today? What is it? What drives you to get out of bed and do what you're doing? Anybody want to share their big why? We're all friends here.
Me to be financially free, me to, if I'm financially free, my family, you know, them do things that they desire, and give them the things that they need. That's my big one.
Perfect. And you have a number around what that financial freedom phrase means, right? Okay. Anybody else? So my big why has really evolved. But the core of it is providing for my family and my kids. And I want them to experience the world in such a way that they feel the need to contribute and give back. And a lot of that has got to do with my faith. And I want them to see how the Lord loves us and cares for us in different variations, not just the American privileged point of view, right? So I've done a lot of mission trips and things. I want them to see that variation on the world, and I want them to have just fun experiences too. Like, you know, we just went to Disney World, but like stuff that we do think of as privileged fun things, but I also want them to have the perspective and doing real estate, helping people achieve that is part of that pays into that, right? So whatever your big why is, it doesn't have to be profound, like you know, feeding a third world country. Like you don't, it can be just, you know, taking care of your family, financial freedom, whatever that is for you, but make sure again, it's in the forefront of what you're doing, because that's going to motivate you to do so. Now, guys, we are at 1 o'clock. We have more content to cover. If you need to leave, I understand. If you need to log off, I understand. We had a little bit of a late start. We have a little bit more content to do. You can come back to the recording. I'm going to keep going. So whoever wants to stay. This next session, we talked about this earlier. It's basically defending your commission. So where do your commission dollars go? So again, for an example, we'll do an example commission here. We were talking earlier. How does that break down? You're going to need to know this not only for your own profitability and business practices, but also to be able to explain it when you're meeting with a customer or client that has questions about it. So we talked about how much money you want to earn, and we need to look at how the commissions work. If you did goal setting with me as a productivity coaching client, the first thing we do is look at what you want to earn in 12 months, and we added the app, right? Because if you want to take home $100,000. You don't need to earn $100,000. You need to earn $123,000. Then calculate expenses and other things on that. But at minimum, your cap needs to go on there. Okay. So this is how to say, showing that you and the other agents typically split whatever that commission from that deal is 50-50. If you don't have both sides of the deal, you're the listing agent, there's a buyer agent, it's going to be typically split 50-50. And then a third of it goes to the market center, paying company dollar and royalty until you cap. And then a third should go back into your business for marketing or what have you. Operating expenses, signs, your car, your phone, anything else you need to conduct and grow your business. You should save and pay for taxes. That 1099 is real, you guys. Uncle Sam will write an invoice. They will. And then that leaves your take home. It's a lot different than when somebody says, oh, you get 30% of this deal, right? That number. The point is to do so many of these that you get 100% one, and then it adds up. Because 1 or 2 deals is not going to take care of y'all's big lie, is it? And maybe even you're thinking your initial goal that you set may not take care of what you thought you wanted, right? It's important to start the habit now to take care of the way you need to take care of your money and your income. Did anybody have an aha around this, or did everybody already? Yeah, that's fairly common sense. Because I'm going to tell you, when I became an agent, nobody explained this to me. Nobody. Not a word. All right. So again, this is what we break down of kind of a little bit of what we've already done. If you want to have a net income goal of $100,000, you need to add your company dollar and royalty cap. For us is 23, not 30. Business expenses at minimum, you would put definitely down any dues or anything that you've paid, any services that you have, and then that gives you what initially your income needs to be. You do your average commission for us is $6,000, and then it gives you your transaction goal. So for you guys, if you have already done your goal setting session with me, we've covered this. Business expenses, I don't go into that on the first session because at this point, we just want to kind of get a rough transaction goal. When you start getting into the transactions and getting into more expenses, we'll cover that a little bit, you know, go a little bit deeper on that session. All right, what are your ahas around that before we get to our success system? None. You already have those. Y'all smart people anyway. Okay, here is a daily 10-4. This is what you're going to do for homework every day. This is how you are going to grow your business outside of just attending these wonderful sessions where I talk for a long time. So we're going to have 10 conversations a day, 10 real estate conversations. Okay. You're going to add those 10 people ideally to your database. If they weren't in your database, then you're going to put them in there. If they were, then you're going to update some information. If you have maybe a phone number and an email, but you don't have a mailing address, make sure when you're speaking to people, you're getting that information. You're going to write 10 handwritten notes. So I like to either order a bulk pack on Amazon that's kind of generic, that can be for anything. Or you can go, I think Dollar Tree sometimes has some cute little generic blank inside notes. However you want to do it. Again, this is a write-off. Get you some stamps and say, I called Margaret today. I'm checking in on her. She and I had a conversation. I'm going to then write her handwritten note. Margaret, it was so great catching up with you today. Good luck on whatever you got going on. Your kids graduate from high school, whatever it is. And you send that note to them. That's a personal touch that, again, a lot of the people in our market are not going to do. And if you make it a habit of that, that solidifies a great relationship with somebody. How do you feel when you get a personal note or a birthday card? You feel good, right? Because nobody does that anymore. Okay. Right. No one does that anymore. All right. And then the 10-5-1 model for social media engagement, we'll talk about that in just a minute. And then any other enrichments that kind of come, some of the sessions we'll talk about scripts and things. So you definitely want to utilize those. All right, let me go over this real quick. I have to say this verbatim. Every class will make calls to people we know and are connected to. We actually don't because our session is only an hour, but this is part of your homework. Before you make any calls, please remember to honor TCPA and the do not call list. If someone, okay, I'm verbatim. All right. Please consult your Market Center attorney to ensure you're compliant. Check the Market Center state do not call list. Refer to your guidelines, to your participant guide for more details. These guidelines are for your protection as well for the protection of your clients. Okay. Here's the thing. If you are calling someone that's in your telephone, first of all, you should have permission to call them. This is for if you're cold calling, you get a list, whatever. Be aware. Most organizations that you pay to do like a multi-dialer, mass dialer, or expired list or whatever like that, it will scrub it. But if it does not, you just need to be very cautious and aware. If someone asks you to stop communicating with them in writing or verbally, please stop communicating with them. They will take you to a lawsuit. It'll be a whole thing to court. And right now, a lot of the major franchises and companies are in a lawsuit regarding TCPA. And a lot of it has to do with speed dialers and things like that, where people call into our neighborhoods and spam and all that. So you guys just use your best intention. If you have somebody in your phone, in your database, you pretty much already have permission to be speaking with them. Anything you do inside of Command as an email mailer, as a text, it will have a automatic do not unsubscribe or do not call button that anybody can select at any time to unsubscribe for your things. There's a layer of protection that you have. Okay, so we're going to talk about different conversations. So here are just some phrasings you may want to use. You know, if you're out and about and you go, well, not you may want to use, but that you hear everybody goes, oh, I don't want to use a script. I know I did when I came here. I was like, that doesn't sound like me. I'm not going to say that. You go to the store, what's somebody say? Did you find everything you're looking for? Go ahead, look around. Let me know if I can help you. I see you're admiring that TV, looking for one for the big game. Those are all scripts. Chick-fil-A, my pleasure. Publix, may I help you out to your car? You find everything you're looking for? I mean, those are scripts that people accommodate with different services and professions, and we should be able to have dialogue that matches our profession. So that's the point of scripts. So your sphere of influence, we're going to talk about that a lot. These are people who know, like, and trust you. It's people that you have met. Okay. This exercise is excellent. Okay. So how many times so far in being in real estate have you guys seen someone go, I just bought a house, or your neighbor put a for sale sign in their yard? You have to say an emotional proximity to the people, because likelihood someone's going to move every 7 to 10 years. And this is kind of the path of what that looks like. So the only time someone's typically not going to move again is right after they just moved. But if you're in touch with them and you're going on with what's going on with their life, if you're checking in with them on social media, if you're writing notes, if you're saying, hey, hello, how you're doing, they're going to remember you're in real estate. And when they start thinking about moving, the natural thing will be go, oh my gosh, I need to talk to Quan. She was just telling me something the other day that she learned, and I want to go to her. But there's a lot of buildup to get to the point that you are emotionally close to enough people that when they raise their hand, you're the person they go to. Real estate consumer is not really consistent, other than we know data shows every 7 to 10 years. But you don't want to be the person that gets in touch with them the day after the move. You want to be talking to them the whole, and that's the point of having a CRM, a smart database, talking to people consistently. You can track it, you can remember, and you go, oh my gosh, I know Monica had this thing going on. I'm going to call her because she had this thing going on. Solidifying that relationship. Do not fear your sphere. Do not fear your sphere. There you go. So the Ford method is just using family, occupation, recreation, and dreams to talk to somebody. So anytime you don't have really anything to say, y'all, 90% of the time you can check on Facebook if somebody has posted something that you could talk to them about. But if you don't, this is what you can use. For example, let me see. I just figured out. So, if you were going to ask Margaret, Quan, if you were going to ask Margaret about her family, how would you do that? Wow. Right? I mean, how normal is that, right? All right. Now, ask her how her job is going. And what is that person gonna do? Oh my gosh, blah, 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 blah. I've been working this shift and that shift and I'm trying to go. They're gonna go into it, right? What are y'all doing? Did y'all do something for spring break? Recreation. Do your kids have summer plans? People will talk all day about themselves. Last time you talked, you wanted to buy a new car or whatever. Did y'all ever get that new car? It really is just relationships, y'all. It's being strategic in your relationships, being very intentional, being very consistent. What are your ahas from that? Now, there are more in-depth scripts when you get into this market and that market, this talking with the seller and buyer, but this is just generic. Hey, how are you doing? And then they're going to say, oh, how's it going with you? Or didn't you just get into real estate? Or didn't you just blah, blah, blah? Yeah, actually, I'm working on my database right now. I want to make sure I have all your information while we're on the phone. I'm making it my goal to send out 3 cards, Christmas cards, birthday cards a year to every person that's important to me. Can I get your mailing address? 123 Main Street. I mean, we're just not very strategic like that. All right. This is the end of the line today. This is the end of the line. How has your thinking changed today? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We don't have to. You need to. And if you're going to be in my group and in my circle and in people that I'm pouring into, you better be a big thinker, because you're just not going to fit in with the group if you're not. And it's not that people don't have limiting beliefs. It's not that people that don't have struggles and obstacles. But at the end of the day, we all know, we get in a room together, we do an event, we do a whatever. This is a group that you can discuss this with, right? Those of you that got your real estate license, were there any doubters in your friends and family that's like, why are you going to do that right now? The real estate market's not good. The news says blah, blah, blah. Probably everybody. That's not this room. That's not this group. We're going to cheer each other on. We're going to think big. What mindsets were new today other than thinking big? Any new mindsets?
Other people, because like I said, everyone knows real estate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm meeting and they are. I just do, my thing.
Yep.
How it's,
Yep.
We can all do it all. It's like,
exactly. Well, that's abundance mindset. We're not scarcity here. Okay. And we're just going to do us to the best of our abilities. We're not going to wish ill will on anybody else, but we're going to show up differently. There's a bold law, how you show up, and here's how you show up everywhere. And I want that to apply to our productivity coaching team. I want that to apply to these classes. Show up, because this is a safe space. When you go out there, you're going to have objections. You're going to have all kinds of obstacles and things that are going to come at you. This is not the difficult space. This is a supportive space. And, we're going to show up in such a way that it's going to be motivational to other people. Go, hold on a minute, what are they gonna do? You know, they've been learning, they've been growing, they've been achieving. That's what they have been doing. I shared something, I'm big on social media, y'all, so all my quotes come from that, but I'm very millennial. One of them I shared the other day was like, sis, walk into that room like God brought you there. Now, ain't that the truth? Right? We go to church a lot, y'all. Okay, if that's not for you, I'm sorry. Talk to me afterwards. How will your behaviors and actions change from today? What are we doing today? What are we walking out of this room doing differently than we would have before?
Be more intentional.
Intentional with what? Mm-hmm.
I'm a very out there person, but I gotta
Right?
increase my personality.
Well, I hope that you go and do the daily 10-4. That's my goal. I'm going to start us a WhatsApp. What is it? WhatsApp? What group me? One of those thread, and I'll send it to everybody. And we're going to do daily check-ins. Hey, did you do your 10-4 today? So that we can really hold each other accountable, because we had some big numbers, I know, in the room. Even those that didn't share, you have some big numbers for a big life, and that's important. All right, what tools, models, and systems are going to use? We said the 10-4. What are some of the other things that we talked about that you're going to use in your business?
We use the command system.
Command.
To a lot of things that you can do in there. So use it more to your advantage.
Right. Well, and as you're talking to 10 people, if you haven't uploaded your contacts from your phone, you can do that, or you can just start manually adding in 10 people and go, I'm going to speak to 10 people and I'm going to just type in their information. Make sure that you're doing that and make notes on whatever you talked about with that person. You know, if text's not really your thing and you don't want the pressure of talking to somebody on the phone while you're entering it in, just keep yourself a little notebook. Say, hey, I spoke to so-and-so, here's a note that we talked about. And then set you some time down where you can really play with it and enter their information. However you want to do it, it's up to you. All right, our next session is going to be embrace your job. We are going to be talking about embracing your job, but let me tell you a little bit more, so you'll be ready. We're going to talk about the 6 core competencies of your business. We're going to talk about your fiduciary role for your clients. And then we're going to talk about your success system. So that will be next Wednesday, 12 to 1:15-ish, looks like, if that works for you guys. And hopefully the tech will be working and we could just do 12 to 1. That is my goal, to get in here and out of here. But if you need to do a productivity coaching session, just send me a calendar link, text me, call me, send a carrier pigeon, however you need to do that. And I'll talk to y'all soon. If I can figure out how to get out of here, right? There we go. Oh, what happened? Tony's computer is sensitive, you guys. It's very